Welcome to another episode of Solitaire Quest. I'm your host, the Blood Knight, the Old Republic of Blood Gaston. Like, share, and subscribe. And today we're reviewing the animated Doctor Who reconstruction of the serial The Abominable Snowmen. This is where the second Doctor goes to Tibet, and some shit goes down. So yeah, let's get into this, folks. So we got episode 1. There's some guys camping in the mountains, and they got attacked. Alright. So yeah, the second Doctor, Jamie and Victoria, they travel to Tibet. So the Doctor pulls out some tech. He forgot what it does. They're looking for a Tibetan bell that the Doctor has. Should really be in a museum or something. So yeah, the Doctor puts on a wool coat. Victoria and Jamie views the Doctor in the wool coat. The Doctor goes to a monastery and he finds a paw print walking there. So Jamie is used to the cold because he lives in like Scotland and stuff like that. The Doctor has to do this alone with the Tibetan bell for some reason. So yeah, the Doctor is being all serious. Jamie and Victoria go for a quick look. The Doctor discovers the campsite. Jamie and Victoria discovers the 2 footprints, and they're big. Don't mind me, I'm just a bit faded from work. So yeah, Jamie and Victoria discover the footprints, and yeah, they're big. Jamie goes to get a sword. Prudent measure, if you ask me. The Doctor knocks on the door to the monastery, and it's seemingly empty. The monks inspect the Doctor, and they think he killed a camper that was in the campsite at nighttime. So yeah, Jamie and Victoria find a cave with wooden supports. So yeah, the cave closes on them. The Doctor's trying to find a way out of his cell because he's been captured. They think he killed a guy. The Doctor speaks with the blonde guy. The blonde guy has been searching for the Yeti. He thinks the Doctor killed his friend. The monks have had 4 of their brothers killed for reasons. The Yetis have become savage. They think the Doctor did it. So yeah, the monks gather in prayer. I wrote down my notebook needs a background soundtrack, because I didn't have a background soundtrack back in the day. And the warrior monk will not act. Jamie and Victoria find a bunch of round metal orbs inside the cave. The Yetis return to the cave and breaks Jamie's sword. And then we got episode 2, Electric Boogaloo. So yeah, Jamie attacks the wooden supports to trap the Yeti in rocks. So yeah, they find the metal balls. The Yeti begins to get up. The doctor is chilling with his recorder and speaks with a monk. The doctor hid the bell in his straw bed. When the monks find him, the warrior monk speaks with the doctor. They're going to use the doctor as bait for the Yeti. The other monks ask him to wait. The monk with the bell speaks with the abbot. And he's got the bell, and he's got the bell for the monastery. So yeah, there is a disembodied voice speaking with them, and it knows the doctor. The doctor is outside the gate, and he's all tied up. Victoria and Jamie outrun the Yeti. The Yeti spaghetti. So yeah, we find that the anthropologist, I think it's like Travers or something. He finds Jamie and Victoria. Or I forget his name, but yeah, Jamie tells him about the Yeti. The guy figures out they're not the press. The abbot and the guy speak to the voice behind the sheet, and he might be a ghost. The voice says the doctor might hinder the great plan. The guy returns to the monks to say the doctor is cool. The doctor didn't tell them about the bell because they accused the doctor of murder. So yeah, the doctor inspects a metal orb. The Yetis approach the temple. The doctor wants to examine a Yeti. The abbot talks with the doctor. A Yeti moves to attack. They capture Yeti and a sphere glows and buries itself in the ground. So yeah, the Yeti is a robot and the doctor finds a slot for the orb. For the orb goes into. So yeah, episode 3. The doctor wants to look for the sphere that slots into the Yeti. The research guy wants to look for the Yeti and the monks forbid it. Victoria figures the sphere that they found could reactivate the Yeti. The sphere has a mind of its own, and it is moving. The monk examines the Yeti. The monks speak to the disembodied voice. The Yetis go to the campsite. The sanctum is forbidden, and Victoria is curious. The abbot speaks with the master of the place, and he is controlling the Yetis. So he's the mastermind of this place. So they find the control orb, and the Yeti gets the orb. There is a pyramid that belongs to the Great Intelligence. So yeah, they're gonna summon the Great Intelligence to the world. And we find out that the sphere is still hidden. The warrior monk must trust the doctor. The monks are gonna guard Victoria. The anthropologist guy is tracking the Yeti. Victoria wants to go after the doctor. The abbot goes to see the Yetis. The monks lose track of Victoria. Victoria goes to the disembodied voice. The sphere rolls back to the Yeti, and the Yeti awakens. We got episode 4. So yeah, the Yeti is awakened in the same room as Victoria. The Yeti knocks down the monk, but he escapes. The monks attack it, but the Yeti escapes. The Yetis return with the monk to the cave. The doctor and Jamie track the Yetis. The master of the sanctuary wants to rest. So yeah, the orbs in the pyramid, the orbs and the control pyramid are a kind of portal. So the Doctor throws a rock at a Yeti, and they go back to the TARDIS. The Doctor pries a orb out of the Yeti. The anthropologist gets his mind scarred, and he runs as the pyramid activates inside the cave. So, yeah. They put a rock inside the Yeti's chest. The Doctor and Jamie go back to the temple, and the Doctor is picking up signals. So yeah, Victoria tells the monk that the Doctor can travel in time. The monks mobilize and the abbot returns, and he tells the guy to forget. So yeah, the great intelligence must expand according to the voice guy, the disembodied voice guy. The Doctor takes the sphere from Jamie. Victoria speaks with the disembodied voice guy. And we got episode 5. The curtain opens and she sees a aged corpse being possessed. So yeah, the great intelligence is possessing a guy, a corpse pretty much, that he's keeping alive for all intents and purposes. And he's controlling the Yetis as they enter the monastery. The anthropologist wakes up and he is shook. He apparently felt evil inside his mind. The monastery is getting attacked. The one monk is still there and gets crushed as the Yetis retrieve something from the statue. The corpse is opening the portal and he orders Victoria to do stuff. The Doctor is trying to triangulate the Yeti signal. The monks will depart and Victoria is being possessed. The temple must be abandoned. Jamie and the Doctor meet up with Victoria and she wants to be taken away. I find out that the Doctor has been to this place before. That's the reason why he had the bell. The Doctor goes to see the corpse being possessed by the great intelligence. The great intelligence is expanding. The corpse is being kept alive and being possessed, and then control is released. The Doctor returns to Victoria and Jamie. The Doctor communicates with Victoria and tells her that they're in the TARDIS, and Victoria is put asleep. She is used to try and send them away. The Doctor deprograms her. The Doctor speaks with the anthropologist guy. His name's Travis. And they go back to see the Yetis. The monastery is where control of the Yetis is. And as the great intelligence is expanding and is spreading out of the cave. And yeah, the great intelligence is spreading out from the cave across the mountain. There's like webs and there's like freaking webs spidering across the mountain and whatnot. And yeah, the corpse gets reawakened again. A warrior priest gets stabbed by the abbot. They discovered that the abbot killed the warrior priest. And the guy gives his last words. The Doctor says to them that the abbot is being possessed. The Doctor has to stop the evil and he wants to send Victoria away. Travis guy and the monk want to shoot the great intelligence because I guess he thinks a gun is going to work. And the Doctor interrogates the abbot. The Yetis were created as puppets. And yeah. So yeah, the Yetis are robots. Which they were created. It's implied that they were created at this Tibetan monastery. That the the freaking guy, the corpse guy, that he built them over time, and he built all the machinery at the temple over 300 years. I mean, the technology. It's like, how did he work the steel and build the circuitry and whatnot in order to, like, how did he build all the Yeti's internal circuitry over 300 years? And like, how did the monks how did they not notice such a construction? So, yeah. And also, why did the guy kill 4 of his own, like, why did he kill, like, the 4 monks? And, or like, if he's controlling the Yetis, and the Yetis killed like 4 of his own monks, it's like, I don't get why that happened, you know? But anyway. So yeah, the Yetis are moving back to the monastery, and the monk and Travis, they see the great intelligence is spreading. The monk leaves, and they're going to destroy the control room. They try to get into the control room. The doctor speaks with the great intelligence. A knife gets levitated away. The doctor enters the room, and the corpse pushes them away with psychic powers. And they manage to smash the controls. Travis and the monks return to the temple. They destroy the primary control sphere. Travis shoots at the corpse. Jamie destroys the pyramid. And yeah, when that happens, it's like the whole mountain is opening up, and the corpse disintegrates. Travis's expedition is over, and they see a real Yeti. And we find out that one of the Yetis is still capable of moving. So yeah, in this episode, the great intelligence is made out of control spheres, and it's like no explanation as to the origin of those control spheres and what their purpose is and what have you. There's no real explanation, and it's like, how did the guy build the Yetis and whatnot? Like, how did he build the Yetis with the technology at hand? Because let's say this Travis guy, let's say they're in like the 60s and whatnot. And it's like they're in the 60s, and let's say the 60s or something, and it's like the technology, like they don't 300 years over 300 building the technology over 300 years. It's like, yeah. Also, like how to, so the great intelligence in the new Who, it showed up in like the 1800s, okay? But it's implied that the great intelligence has been on the Earth for over 300. And assuming this episode takes place sometime in the 60s, like this guy's got a bolt action gun, so I'd say we're talking. This could take place between, I'd say between World War One and the '60s, between World War One and the '60s or something, and it's like it could take place in between there. I'm not sure when the bolt action rifle was made, but it could take place in between that period of time. But yeah, it's like it's implied that the great intelligence first showed up on Earth in the freaking in the 1800s. So 300 years prior to the 20th century, that would be in the 1600s. So it's implied that the great intelligence has been here since the 1600s, which would which might which which would contradict New Who, because it's implied that the great intelligence only appeared on planet Earth in like the 1800s. So yeah, the timeline in this episode does, and when the great intelligence is established on Earth, a little bit muddy. A little bit of inconsistency there. Like, it was implied that the great intelligence was already on planet Earth. And also, if the great intelligence could just be summoned so easily to Earth, how come in the New Who it's like if the great intelligence is just a whole bunch of spears and a pyramid that a Tibetan guy constructed, it's like why didn't in New Who those same spheres get constructed and the same pyramid get assembled? And how come that ritual in this episode, why wasn't it used in New Who to summon the great intelligence to the Earth? But it's also implied that the great intelligence is on Earth, but yeah, it's a bit inconsistent, I'm not gonna lie. Like, how come in New Who, like, how come that pyramid structure wasn't assembled the same way and the pyramid was placed on top of the orbs and the portal wasn't opened? So, yeah. And it's like, if the great intelligence can use avatars on Earth, it's like, and the great intelligence is also in like modern day Earth, right? So if the great intelligence, if he ordered the Tibetan monks to construct these metal spheres in this top pyramid, how come in the modern era, how come the great intelligence didn't just do the same thing to summon himself to existence? Like, there's two great intelligence stories where it was Time of the Doctor, and then the one where the Doctor met Clara. and the great intelligence was feeding off the minds using the Wi-Fi. But then why didn't he just like summon himself? Like how come he didn't just instruct his underlings to construct this pyramid, construct these orbs, and then just summon himself to spread across the entire Earth? But then if the great intelligence is on Earth, why isn't he spreading out like he did in the caves in this episode? So yeah, like the great intelligence between old Who and new Who, he's somehow losing abilities for some reason. So, and yeah, like I know Richard E. Grant wasn't born back in the day, but it's like, how come the great intelligence doesn't sound different from old Who to new Who? It's like, yeah, I don't know. But like, yeah, like why doesn't the great intelligence, like why doesn't he just keep try to summon himself to Earth? You know, if it's like you just need a stack of these metal spheres and you need a pyramid on top. Presumably these were all constructed by the Tibetan monks. It's like, yeah. So yeah, that's what I noticed. You know, in this episode, in this video, notice the inconsistencies. Like you watch old vintage Doctor Who, and it's like you start noticing the inconsistencies between new Who and old Who. So that's just what I noticed. So anyway, I'm your host, the Blood Knight of the Old Republic of Bloodganistan. Like, share, and subscribe. And this is my review of the Abominable Snowman. It's a good episode, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, I just noticed some inconsistencies from this episode to like New Who. So yeah. Anyway, peace out, folks. You stick on the ice and your cards on the table.